I mean, everyone. I think Chris and I are in that era of cash, right? I remember we would go to the bodega and you would pull out $4,500 in cash to buy a $25 icy or juice. Remember that to let people know you had cash in your pocket. I pulled out cash right now. That's rare. I got like $80 in my pocket and I'm popping. We always with the card. It's rare. Feel me? Like Chris, when we on the road, he's always carrying cash because we have to certain places we pay, but we really it's always the card. If you're
correct,
right? Because so I think that we're in an era right now where things are changing, but we have to understand, like you said, one of the reasons you're here today is that we're trying to help them. We're helping people get educated, empowered, and say, "Hey, look, change is coming."
Yeah.
Either you
get ready.
We talked about AI.
Yes.
AI. I'm not saying become an expert, but if you don't get some touch, one of these AI situations is going to roll you over. It's going to really. We're realizing with AI and with what's going on, who's really who's needed and who's not needed. We discussed that before. That's very important. If you're really talented, authentic in your ideas and what you bring to the game, you will always be needed. AI won't be able to touch you.
40% of the job market is going to be gone in the next 10 years because of AI.
I agree.
A lot of jobs are not going to be needed.
They're already doing it on the highways where
Autonomous.
there's no more people collecting tolls.
The tolls.
Or how about this?
That was one of the best jobs to have, Chris.
Autonomous truck driving.
Yes,
they already got trucks that don't even have a
autonomous, person. You using big words.
Autonomous self-driving.
I thought we were gonna say what was that DEFCON? What was that? That's un muñequito. Optimus Prime. Autonomous, right? It seems
Autonomous Prime.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think Tesla's rolling out.
Amazon is gonna have the trucks.
Basically AI trucks. Is what you're basically saying. They're driving themselves.
They have them already, just haven't been
the future's coming. It is what it is. It's here. AI's here. And at the end of the day, people better work on their credit, better work on their finances.
So now we went personal. You said people.
Yep.
He says business.
I want to talk business. Like, how do you do business credit?
Cool. Okay, so this is the thing.
What is needed? I start a business. I have an EIN from the state. Right, I open a bank account. What am I supposed to do? Brand new company.
One of the biggest problems is that from the giddy up, from the jump, most folks, when they establish their entity, such as an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, and they get the EIN number, they make critical mistakes. Let me tell you, right? It's all about the foundation. I'm going to tell you, right? Okay. So myself, when I had my business, One PR Credit Solutions, before I was aware and conscious of the aspects of your foundation, of your fundability when it comes to business credit, I use my home address as my address. That's red flag number one. Typically, the Secretary of State or IRS.gov, they don't want to see that. They want to see something like either a brick and mortar retail address or they want to see a virtual address. That's number one. Another mistake. I use my cell phone number. They don't want that. I had to go through Vonage. I downloaded the Vonage app on my phone, and now I have an 800 toll-free number. Number two. Number three, they want to see a website. They want to see somewhere, a centralized location that you could be able to see what your product is and what you have. All right, that's three. So off the rip right there, 80% of businesses are already in the red. Right? People think they're gonna. I'm gonna open up my EIN, and then I'm gonna go to the bank and I'm gonna get proof. $100,000, no documents. Guys, listen. If anything I say today, please stop listening to people on Instagram and TikTok. A majority of these folks are not financial literacy experts. They're not your guru. They don't know what they're talking about. All right, so please be mindful. Again, another thing too, everybody thinks they're gonna go on YouTube University, I call it, right, and go on YouTube and try to cut corners and get that. Folks, if it was that easy, everybody would have 100 out of 100 with their EIN numbers through Dun & Bradstreet or whatever the case may be to get the business credit. So please stop trying to cut corners. Do the right thing like Spike Lee. Do your due diligence and learn. But again, someone like myself, I'll do free consultations. Before I even earn your business or take any money, I do a free consultation for about 30 minutes and we can discuss. But to go back to the business credit, right? So you need your foundation.
Those are great three things. I'm a person that did exactly that for businesses for
the first time around.
Yes, first time.
You didn't know no better.
I didn't know.
But now that you know better, you do better.
I didn't want to. I would use an address that was a home address. I would never give up a business phone. I would always give up my cell phone. And it's crazy. And I had business phones for every business all the time, and I never give it
They
up.
also want to see you listed on 411. right? They also want to see an online presence. So there's about 15 factors. Obviously, a business checking account, but even the business checking account, again, has to make sure that you have all the information. Your business checking account also has to have your business phone number, has to have business address, right? So
and it should match. Everything should be consistent.
yes, absolutely. Because what happens is this: when you go
has to show up in that when they look it up in the state, when they look it up.
Secretary of State, wherever you are, and also IRS.gov, which is federal. So those have to be congruent and have to be consistent because everything now is all algorithm based, right? Everything is all like if you got to apply for a loan.
So when you say IRS.gov, that means when they send you your EIA number, that address they send you with has to match
100%.
It can't be mommy's house.
Because when you go apply for the loan and they see that you have the Secretary of State doesn't match IRS.gov, you automatically get denials. So this is why so many people be like, yo, I go to the bank, I got my business for 3 years and I can't get a loan. Why? Because your foundation is incorrect. So before I even start talking about opening up tier 1 to tier 4 credit accounts, which I'll talk about in a second, your foundation off the rip is incorrect. So that right there is why people hire me, so I could be able to do these 15 steps to make sure their foundation is right. Once you got that situated, which could take anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of months, because what happened with me is because I had my home address on it and then my virtual address was in Suffolk County, I was in Nassau County, I had to do an amendment which took 6 weeks to the state of New York. So that pushed me back almost 2 months. You know what I'm saying, right?
Wow.
So that in itself, right? Once you got that situated, boom, be beautiful, your foundation is impeccable, you're ready to go. Now you're gonna go for your tier 1 accounts. Tier 1 accounts typically are your net 15, net 30, net 90s, which means that whatever card that you get, or whatever
Granger
credit,
and things like that.
Granger, Uline, a WEX 76 Fleet, a couple of different things, right? They have to be paid in full during the net 15 days, net 30, or net 90 days. So they have to be paid in full. Now, this is the thing, y'all. Business credit ain't like personal credit. With personal credit, if you miss one, whatever, you could probably get it fixed, maybe. With business credit, there's no such thing as business credit repair. If you miss, you're done. Wow. You cannot miss. I don't give a damn what you got to do. Go on OnlyFans, go on the block, do what you got to do. Get a pack, get some green. Pay off that debt.
Those accounts are not crazy. Granger, you can order $130 worth of stuff, pay it back.
But people will still, because my thing is people don't put stuff on auto pay. I would recommend put everything on auto pay. So you don't got to remember that guy back in the day.
You can't put it on auto pay if you don't have auto money coming in.
I mean, but my thing is, like Denero said, if you have a $120 account with Granger, respectfully, you should have $120 around. And if you don't, then you need to...
Because Granger lets you order, let's say, office equipment stuff.
Yes.
They'll give you can order $300 if you want.
And they bill you and pay when you pay.
They're going to send you that bill,
the invoice.
Pay it right away. That's what they're recommending, pay right.
Yep.
I did that for one of my companies.
It has to be paid in full, yes. Because if it's a net 15 or net 30, it has to be paid in full.
I did it for I think I have a NAV account. I don't mess with it, but I did it. I think it's like a B-, my credit for one of the companies, but I paid my net 30s which was a Uline.
Uline, correct.
I bought bags and shit with them.
Yep.
And a Granger, and then after you pay one time, you don't have to get nothing from them again. You're in the system.
Correct, but the only thing is that you do want to keep it consistent because that's how you build the credit. Because building business credit is much harder. Now the beautiful thing is this: once you establish that business credit, down the line when you get to tier 4, which could take anywhere from 12 to 18 months, depending on how fast you do it, that's when you can start getting the bag. When I mean the bag, I'm talking about $500,000 credit limits, $1 million, $2.5 million to buy commercial properties, real estate, buy cars. Not only could you buy a car, but you don't have to even put your social on it. That's the point. Because now what happens is this: when you try to go buy a car, let's say I want to jump out the window and I want to get me a S550 drop. AMG kitted 225. If I get that on my credit report, that's going to significantly lower my score. Why? Because now I got damn near $250,000 on my credit report in debt, right? Utilization. As opposed to me getting that car strictly on my EIN, no personal guarantor, bing bong, now that 225, if I want to, you know what? I might not want to pay $3,000 a month for that, but you know what? Let me get a 10-year loan, and you know what? I'll pay it off $1,500 a month. It's a brand new car. You know what I'll do? I'll rent it out, you know what I'm saying, for video shoots, $400, 3 days a week, $1,500 pays for itself.
If you get a 10-year loan, you can sell it in 3 years too.
Exactly, so you're still in an equity position.
It off,
Doesn't matter, but at that point, it shows that now you're paying that off. So another thing I mentioned too, now this is very important too, guys. When you do business credit, it is imperative that you also have good personal credit, because in the beginning, since they don't know your business and your
They're gonna
entity,
bounce off of that.
they need to utilize your personal credit as a PG, aka personal guarantor, meaning that if you default on that business,
something to go to.
they're gonna come after you and they're
So
gonna
let me
mess up your
ask
credit.
the question: how long does it take typically to get good business credit so they don't go to your personal?
So that typically starts at around tier 3, which depending on how fast you do it, could be like 9 to 14 months. You know what I'm saying? Because again, every
year to
like
build
a
it.
year, right? You know, but again, I set the proper expectation because you guys are on TikTok, you guys on Instagram, you're on Facebook, saying all these guys, oh, in 90 days you're gonna get 100
the
grand.
bank, no doc. They're gonna cut the check. They're gonna call the cops. Is what they're gonna.
You know how I know that? You know how I know that's a fraud? I'm gonna tell you why.
This guy wants. He wants
I mean, when they're
150,000.
sitting there on Instagram and they doing this,
Yeah, this, do this, and do this,
This bank.
and do this, and do this. Yo, listen, corny. I'm gonna tell you right now. I went to Key Bank. Key Bank they have one location out here in Manhattan. They're actually the bank that deals with New York State unemployment, right?
Yes.
I went in there because they're a tier 1 bank that helps people like myself, right, who are in the process to get certain kind of either line of credits or business cards. And I went over there. I met with the branch manager. She was super dope, by the way. I recommend Key Bank in Manhattan. And she told me, she was like, oh, Jonathan, I'm glad you came with your book and your laptop and everything, because I got so many people coming in here off of social media with nothing. Like, oh yeah, I got an EIN number. I want to hunt it. And they're like, absolutely not. Right? So guys, like I tell you, please make sure that your documentation is in order. Make sure that your personal credit has to be at least a 700.
you just got rid of one of my appointments for next week.
Which is?
Key Bank.
Oh, what about him?
I'm saying I was gonna go try it with no EIN, just my EIN and see if they give it to me.
Oh, I mean, you get, I mean, with adventures, you absolutely get it. But anybody else, you're finished,
I was
right?
just gonna slip the teller a little note and say, put the money in the bag.
You know that's
finished.
all it takes.
Finish him.
You know that's all it takes.
Damn.
You know, bank robbing is all it takes is a note.
Listen, no, but the note says, hey, no docs, $50.
Maybe you get away with
And
it.
then you just say, and then put no docs but 50 from TikTok.
As seen on TikTok.
I seen on TikTok. Powered by TikTok.
And I'm gonna put a big emoji with a big ass trash can. I said basura.
Basura.
That's really false. So then once you get your business credit established, then you can start
Ladies
getting.
and gentlemen, anything that is easy, run from.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Be
gonna
careful.
happen.
Be careful.
Once you
Take
get your
time, because even to build getting back to personal credit.
Sure.
So you send the first letter,
yeah,
right? Because there's a process.
a round of letters.
A round of letters
Correct.
to take away. Say the guy has 7 derogatory, this, that.
Via certified mail. Got to be certified. There's a reason why certified mail. Because if you just send a letter, you don't know if they got it and when they got it, right?
Right.
There's something called the FCRA.
Yeah, but I heard it certified or not, it goes through the same process.
It does, but this is the thing.
I'm just asking you.
I'm gonna tell you why. Yes, that's correct. But when you do a certified and pay that $7, what happens is they send a return receipt,
That's right.
a little green envelope that shows you the date they received it.
Right, and then
So
you count 30 from there.
45 now.
45
It used to
from
be 30 days prior to COVID, but because of COVID and shortages in the post office as well as the credit bureaus, the Fair Credit Reporting Act now has to get 45.
I heard nobody reads the letters, it just goes through the machine. Is it
Something
true?
called the e-Oscar, yes.
Okay.
So you have to know how to use the proper words because this is the thing.
I know my shit, brother.
It's called e-Oscar, yeah. And now once you make a legitimate letter, then it pops out of e-Oscar, and then someone has to legitimately
Okay,
read it.
so now you went ahead and you have the letters for what it is, you send them in.
Yep.
Usually, you get the certified date, 45 comes in, then you'll see whether they took certain things off or they didn't, right?
Correct.
And then you'll come back and do another round of letters.
More aggressive, different
aggressive
verbiage.
To say, hey,
Prove it.
30 motherfuckers, prove it. That shit
Something
ain't
like that.
right.
But you say it in a nice way.
No.
A nice way. You do.
No, but you say,
yeah.
hey, no, he look, I'm just saying, and
You're
you
right.
send a second round of letters to say, hey, by the way, but sometimes you can catch them too to say, hey, this is not on my Equifax. How can it be, right? If you use this, I'm just asking, there's different strategies.
Yes.
For, all right, so
Yes,
then you
yes.
go ahead and send a second round of
Correct.
letters. Sometimes then you go, say you started with 7, first round you took away 3, you still got 4.
Correct.
You come down second round, now they come round, they took 1 off, but you
Yep.
still got 3, you're like,
Correct.
and then you have another round of letters.
Typically 3 rounds is the top.
That's what I'm saying.
After
Then
the
you'll
third
have another
round,
so you're going in 45. So you're letting people know
6 to 9 months.
6 months,
Yeah.
I get your shit popping. 'Cause
Absolutely.
These people say, yo, there's a thing going on Facebook says,
24 hours.
no, listen to this one. Listen to this one. 150 points
Gone.
in less than, in like that, 20, 44.
Fraudulence.
I'm like, there's
Fraudia.
no way.
No way. No way. Again, you know what they're doing? How you doing? My name is Jonathan Torres. I'd like to call 911. My wallet has been stolen and someone's been using my cards. Can I get a police report, please? Someone taking my identity. Can you give me a police report for this date? Thank you. And they call and they send it, whatever. And even if you do that, that shit still takes time because you still have to send it to the bureaus.
Sure.
Do not get, guys, I'm trying to tell y'all, it sound cute. Do not get caught up. That is a federal offense on so many levels.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Federal. You know what I'm saying?
Play with the alphabet, boys.
80% of your time. All right. Let me say something else. So sometimes you have scenarios where they don't remove it. They're playing hardball. They won't do it.
Right.
So now at that point, they may send a settlement offer, right? So let's just say, for example, the collection agencies that
send
own
a
it.
settlement offer to the, for example, even though let me another thing.
Yeah.
Even though you're representing, when you send these letters, it's like if your customer's sending them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So whatever they're gonna send is going to be sent to the customer's house.
Correct.
And they'll tell you, hey, Torres, I just got a letter to settle, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, once we get that settlement letter, we're going to look at the situation. Typically, I do not advise settling because even though
admitting guilt.
it's not admitting guilt, but there's notes in the credit report that will either say PIF, paid in full, or SIF, settled in full. Yeah, PIF.
They got
like the PIF, paid in full, right? So typically it's better looking on the credit report on the notes if it says paid in full rather than satisfied in full. Because if it's satisfied in full, whatever, that means kind of like, the bill's a stack, I paid $300.
So how do you get it paid in full?
You paid in full. Whatever they're asking for is you pay it. If your ass took it out, if you took it out, you're responsible for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not everybody might not have that. So I tell people, listen, if it was $10,000 and selling for $2,000 and you don't feel like paying the 10, you know what? Pay the 2, and at least not only when you pay it, you have to inform them, I'm gonna make a payment arrangement. I'm gonna pay this 2. I need you to send me a letter that this is satisfied in full, because this is the thing where they get you. Just because you pay the debt, legally they're supposed to take it off. Majority of the time they don't. So I tell the
now
customers,
you gotta send more letters.
yes. So once I receive that, I then take that and I send it back to the bureaus and says, okay, this settled in full, please update it. So not only do you have to ask them to update the credit bureaus within 30 days, but also send me proof that I settled in full. Because now you have something in writing. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Just like the court of law.
But let's say you don't pay, though, they want to settle for 2, you don't pay the 2.
Yep.
Right? And you keep sending letters. It won't work.
Not necessarily,
because how long they keep it on? Because they said there's a 7-year thing. Like, how does that work?
Yes. Yes.
So people say, look, they don't have the 2. They don't have 10 cents to put cheese on a Whopper. Let the $2,000 to settle. Now what they do? It
depends on your state. So typically, every state has a different statute of limitations when it comes to that. In New York State, it's typically 7 years. 7 years from the last reported time on there, right? So let's just say, for example, you utilized a credit card in 2012, but like you were still kind of paying it off in like 2019.
Right.
It's not from 2012. It's from the last time you did something on that account. So it's 7 years from 2019. After that time period, once 7 years is done, the statute of limitation is done, you can send a letter out to remove it. It's no longer relevant.
Right. And also, if they sometimes what happens is they sell it to a collection agency, and then it gets back on your stuff, and that's what you have to fight too.
Yeah, because my thing is they have to say, okay, great. If you bought this debt, please show me the original debt. Show me my information. Show me my signature.
Yeah,
because they have to prove to you that they bought the debt. Right. If they can't show it, they'll be like, just remove it. That's how it works. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but
once they put it into a debt collector, then you don't have to pay anybody.
Again,
I'm just saying, because the debt collector,
yeah,
the settling is directly with the creditor. Oh, but let's say the creditor says, "I'll forget it. They're not even going to pay my $2,000." Do they sell it to the?
It depends, because sometimes at that point it's been in collection so long, the original debtor or the furnisher, right, the credit card, they no longer hold the debt in their books because they consider it a charge off.
Right.
So now they took it off their books for that year. Right. So sometimes at that point they don't even own the debt anymore. So you got to go through a debt collection agency, and once the collection agency does it, they'll update the report. But it's very crucial that you ask them for 2 things. You're gonna say, I need something in writing that specifies I either settled or paid this in full. Number 1. Number 2, I need you to update the credit bureaus within 30 days. You have to ask them for these 2 things. And if many times, if some people are not very comfortable with the verbiage and having these conversations, I'll get on the phone with them on a 3-way call, and I'll be like their liaison. They give me power of attorney, and I'll speak on their behalf to get it rectified.
That's really good.
Yeah, and what I charge is dirt compared to what other people do. I do 10 times more than the average person, and probably charge 10% of what they charge. Wow. You know, because this is my thing. it's all about advocacy. So I like exponential growth. So I tell 2 friends, because you told 2 people about that. You know what I'm saying? I even helped out one of your nieces, you know what I'm saying, most recently. She's loving it and things are going great. And she's going to tell 2 friends. They tell 2 friends. If you take the number 2 and times that by 32, that's 1.4 million on exponential growth. So it's all about exponential growth. So that's why I charge such a low price. Not because I'm being cheap or stingy, because I want more people to get my services. I want to really help people. And the second part of it is, quite frankly, I want to see my African-American, Latino people win. And a lot of people, unfortunately, in our demographic are the ones that suffer from this because of a lack of education and financial literacy, us growing up, because we weren't taught that. I was one of them, you know what I'm saying? My parents were middle income. They made decent money as a police officer and a secretary and whatnot, but I didn't know the financial literacy. It took me to the age of damn near 40 to kind of be a subject matter expert right now in personal and business credit. But it's really gratifying for me to help out folks and change their lives. When people cry, they'll call me, yo, John, I got approved for the mortgage. I love you, thank you. Yo, I just traded in this hoopty, now I got the Benz. Yo, good looking, Torres. Yo, I just got approved for $10,000 on my business credit line because I use my personal guarantor because of my good credit. Good looking, Torres. That's the cause I love.
That's it.
Very gratifying, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
No, that's great information.
Word up.
I know our listeners going to be able to use that.
Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. It's a beautiful thing. And not to mention, too, just to add it to all, to kind of bring it all in, a lot of my experience comes from the music business. So I've been doing my PR stuff for over 10 years.
Yes.
One of my goals was actually came off of, your thought process about empowering the artist, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking of...
Which we're going to do, and Dex is here, too, so we need to make sure that happens.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dex Diamond, right?
Yeah.
So how do we empower the artists, right? So besides, Dex being very adamant about artists getting their metadata, the ISRC codes, the PROs done right. Once that's situated, as an artist, you are a business, you're an entity. So why don't we get our personal credit up? Why don't we get our business credit up and leverage that? Because Chris and the whole Adventures movement is all about empowering the artists, aka F the labels, right? So all the label's gonna do is put you in a debt position, because what's it gonna do? The label's they're gonna get a loan from a bank, the same thing you could do with good credit, and they're gonna add their points on it. So if you get $1 million, out that million, you get taxed 40%, you're now at 600,000, but you still owe them 1.5. How you gonna recoup that money back? Why go through all that rigmarole, right? When you could just go to the bank, build your business credit up for a year, and leverage your own bank and fund your own career and do the right thing like Spike Lee. You don't need the labels. And this is what I love working with Chris, because he constantly reiterates that mindset and that mentality into the independent unsigned artists. So I utilize this to help the independent unsigned artists be able to leverage their own personal credit score as well as build their business entity to leverage it.
In the main key part to me is they have to believe in themselves. So if they believe they have a gift and that ability to be one of the best artists, why wouldn't you go and find this financing available for you from the credit side and go get it for yourself and push your own music and do what you want to do?
Well, as we know, it's unfortunate. A lot of the independent unsigned artists, they have a microwave mentality. They want it now. You know what I'm saying? It's a TV dinner. They want to be able to eat the whole plate in 60 seconds. And it doesn't work like that, right? No. So a lot of people are impatient. It's unfortunate, because I feel that there's such a void. And again, we spoke about this, behind closed doors, but I would love to see how I could incorporate the financial literacy into the Adventures movement so we can continue to empower the artists. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to do it. I have that. Then I'm definitely in, the merch. These are things that is going to add a huge value for all these independent artists. And the services that we offer, even mixing and mastering. I have some really good mixing and masterings that I got to tell Dex about. Engineers that will do that for these artists, because the sound quality is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all part of what we're
doing. And the visuals too. Like shout out to Ish in the background. I'm saying on the lens. On the visuals. That's imperative as well.
Shine.
Let's go.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, man. So it's a beautiful thing, though, man. But I love the growth. Again, this is what I love to do. Again, my goal, my aspirations is to continue to help out everybody. Again, not just limited to just like minorities and Black and Spanish folk, but that happens to be my biggest demographic. And I think we're the ones that
need it the most. That's
exactly. That's what it boils down to. We need it the most. You know what I mean? But again, LGBTQ plus friendly. We don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? Like, help anybody that's willing to be helped. I do free consultations on the personal or the business side, and then once we get that and package it together, the next goal is to actually get you funded. So I actually help people get funding and lending on the EIN numbers as well.
Yeah. and he's done it for me. I can speak personally. He's done it for me, so it absolutely works. That's
and got the new whip too. I broke car deals too. Got him hook up on the whips, all type of stuff, man.
But I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me,
man. Appreciate it.
Yes.
If you need that credit solution, you make sure you go find PR. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
And get your credit in order. And I want to thank everyone again. You know, again for merch, we have our merch. Make sure you go to adventuremusic.com. and go get the merch. We have it all the merch on adventuremusic.com that you could get for Giving Them the Business or for adventuremusic.com. So it's both.
Right. It's baseball season. Go Yankees. Go
That's it. Hey, guys, just I'll close out. You can find me. My websites are two of them. www.oneprcredit.com. So it's the word one. www.oneprcredit.com. For the personal credit side, and then on the business side, oneprbusiness.com. oneprbusiness.com. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Torres1PR, the number one. And let's chop it up. Once again, giving them the business. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Don De Niro. I appreciate y'all. Much love.
And then I'm going to link you up with Dex after we're finished here.
Let's get it.
But make sure you guys go like, share, subscribe. Thank everyone for tuning in. See you on the next episode. This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo and my partner as always.
Don Dinero, Mr. Money for the Gringos. Swagada.
Squiggy. We out. Bye.